It's your responsibility to recognize the grand things that are happening in your life and to celebrate that so you can continue to create more. You're listening to Turn Your Soul On Radio. I am your host and visionary doctor, Dr. Brandy Victory, and my mission is to assist high-achieving women in closing the gap between feeling unfulfilled to living a life on fire. It is time, ladies, to champion our own lives and turn ourselves on. This is Living Victoriously, ladies. This is how you turn your soul on.
And what if your life could be better? What if you could be in less pain? Or maybe not have constipation? Or what if your immune system could actually function the way it's meant to? What if you could make more money? And what if you could have greater happiness in your life? Ladies, thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you. It is my grandest thing that I do every time I get behind this mic and share my stories with you. It just turns my soul on. And today I want to chat about how to go about improving your life circumstances. There is a very particular way that you can go about doing that, and we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of that. And before we get started, I just want to invite you to share this episode with someone you love. So reach out to them and say, hey, I think you'll really enjoy this. That is, if you're enjoying my stuff. If you're finding your life is better because of what I'm sharing with you, I'm just saying other people probably will too. And it would be really great if you'd share it with other people because that's how the show grows. And if you would just take a minute to go rate and review this show after you've heard it and let me know how it's going for you out there. It's just really great for me to hear if this stuff is really making a difference in your life, really. It feels like it does because I feel so on fire and on purpose when I'm sharing it with you. And it's great to hear that kind of feedback. Or if you have feedback to where I could approve the show, or if there's something you would rather be listening to or have me chat about, hey, let me know that too, because I am way a game to make it happen for you. All right. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you to our sponsor, Purium Superfoods. Purium Superfoods is the sponsor of the 10-day transformation program that I just got finished doing. At the time of this recording, I am now on day 14 or 15. I don't know. I've lost track now. And I'm kind of keeping it going, actually. I have had so much success this time around that I am just jazzed. I am super jazzed. I've lost over 8 pounds for sure, probably more than that by now. And I'm having better sex. Yeah. Who can say no to that, right? And I would love that to happen for you too, if that's your thing. So if you'd like to do this 10-day transformation program, I am starting a 10-day group transformation for women, and it will begin June 2nd. Registration ends May 22nd. So head on over to my website, drbrandyvictory.com/10-day. That's 10DAY. And check it out. See if it's your thing. We'll be doing guided meditations and setting intentions and visualization and sensuality exercises, honoring your feminine, eating the cleanest you've probably ever eaten, or maybe at least in a long time. And and afterwards, we're going to have a follow-up call. We meet every day virtually on Zoom, so we'll be able to connect in with our tribe as we're going through this, so you can get personalized support from me, a doctor who's done this 15 times, and I love this program. So, head on over drbrandyvictory.com/10-day and get yourself registered. And beyond that, let's get on with the show. So what brought this to my consciousness recently is I had a patient come in. It was a new patient, and he was like, hey, yeah, I've got this back pain. All right. And I'm like, well, very clearly looking at him, he's not taking care of himself. He's probably hitting up on 60. His son was a prior patient of mine, and I had just treated his son. So his son's 19 years old, and he's like, I don't know, he was a wrestler, and then now he works out really hard and very good shape. But you can tell, a 19-year-old kid who's got it going on, right? And his dad, this guy, is wanting to do everything he can to keep up with him, like everything he can. So he's going to the gym with him, and he's working out really hard with him, and he's causing himself injuries all over the place, okay? He's got a back injury, a shoulder injury, and I can't remember what else. But I just looked at him and I said, yeah, and what if you could be better? And he's like, well, I'm doing pretty good. I've been hard on my body when I was younger. And, I'm pretty much keeping up with my 19-year-old son. Pretty much is the key word there, right? Pretty much keeping up with my 19-year-old son. And I'm like, okay, I can see where this guy's at, right? He had a huge, probably largely successful young childhood or teenagerhood, or, had it going on when he was younger, and he doesn't want to lose his mojo, right? And so now he's doing everything he can to keep up with his 19-year-old son, because this is what gives him the memory of living his youth, right? And his son is so probably like really strong in the gym and, all these things that he's hard to keep up with. So, it really pushes his dad, which is probably good. It's a stretch, but if you're kind of like this guy, making an excuse for yourself, you may want to really step back and take a look. So if I ask you, what if your life could be better? What's the first thing that comes into your consciousness? What if your life could be better? And just listen to that voice on the inside. Maybe you're like, oh, I'm doing pretty good. So that just cut everything I just said to you, right? Or maybe you're making other excuses like, well, I am 50 now. Cut. What if your life could be better? Well, you know what? My whole family had it. Cut. Or if you're a practitioner and you're wanting to make more money, what if your life could be better? Well, I live in a small town. Or, there's 10,000 massage therapists in my town. Cut. Like every time you make an excuse, you're cutting out your ability to manifest something different. All right. So notice, just take note. Like it's not right or wrong, but it just may be what you're doing to yourself. And when you do that, you're actually locking yourself into your experience. So many, I would say 100% of people come to me because they want change in their life. They want something different. And then when it comes down to it, they're kind of unwilling on some level to let go of the old story. They're unwilling, I should say, to let go of their past paradigm. And until you're ready to let go of it, you will not change. You'll just keep repeating the same old story over and over again and complaining about it until you don't, until you're ready to really let go. I had another patient in a couple of days ago, and she had this pretty serious back pain. Oh, goodness. And she'd been icing it up and doing all this stuff, and she didn't hurt it. Like nothing happened. It just came on, right? And if you've been following along, or, if you're kind of on this path, that consciousness creates. That your mind controls your body. And this was clearly what this woman was coming down to. And I was like, you feel like this feels like not a physical problem. This feels like an emotional problem. And she's like, oh, really? Like it was kind of a surprise to her. And I said, are you under a stress or a significant stress happening right now in your life? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, are you in a place where you can change it? And she's like, yeah, I actually can change it. And I'm like, oh, wow, great. This is awesome. And she's like, yeah, but if I do, we'll see if I do. That's what it is. She's like, oh, we'll see if I do, And my response to her was, well, when you're tired of being in pain, you'll change it because that's what it's going to take. You got to be completely tired of where you're at. You got to be tired of being in pain. You got to be tired of having constipation or diarrhea or irritable bowel. You got to be tired of being overweight and looking at yourself in the mirror and going, look at that pudge. You got to be tired of not having enough money in your bank account to do the things you want to do. You got to be tired of not having enough patients or clients coming into your door. You got to be tired of having a fucked up relationship with your partner and not standing up for yourself. And so now you have to deal with it. I had another patient come in today. This was a guy. And he says, I started a new a shift at work. He was working nights. And he says, me working nights really was saving my marriage. But now that my wife and I have the same hours, I don't know what's going to happen. And I was just like, wow. Oh my gosh, how crazy is that? How crazy is it that this man is in a relationship and he doesn't like being around his wife, right? But he's settling, and so is she. And they're just dealing with it. And he said, well, we've learned how to live with each other. Excuse. Cut. Right? Instead of standing up and going, hey, you know what? This little thing bothers me. Or, hey, honey, maybe we could take our relationship to the next level and get some therapy or some relationship coaching or something like that. Right? But no, they're going to just make the excuse and they're going to stay in their own little repeating pattern of whatever it is they're doing, right? And we all do this on some level. And the way we break out of it is to become conscious of it, okay? Your experience in your life, be it in your physical body, be it in your relationships, be it in your finances, is a direct reflection of your consciousness. And if you're experiencing anything but a fulfilling and spectacular life filled with joy and happiness and abundance and deep purposeful living, then there's definitely room for growth. The question is, are you ready for it? Here's the thing. Every single thought that you have creates a chemical reaction in your brain. And these chemicals become messengers in your body that create feelings. So you think a thought, it creates a chemical messenger, and then you have a feeling. And then you realize you have the feeling, and it causes you to think a thought that matches the feeling that you're having. So let's just say, I can't get well. My mom had this and my grandma had it. I can't get well. And that creates a chemical response in your brain. And then it creates a feeling in your body. And that feeling matches the I can't get well, my family had it. And then you have that feeling, which is a low vibrational feeling. If you feel into that right now, you can feel it. It just drops. Boom. And then that feeling causes you to think the thought again, or to actually figure out a thought that will continue to create those same kind of feelings. And these chemicals and these feelings, they become addictive. And so we get caught in these loops. And when you're caught in these loops, you're actually living out a memory or a thought from the past, and you've lost your free will. You've lost your ability to make a new choice. And I'm sharing this with you because it's so vital that you know that keeping yourself in these subconscious patterns is causing you to not be able to make a new choice. The other thing that happens is that when you have one of these thoughts, chemical reactions, feelings, then there's a electromagnetic frequency that is emitted from your body that matches the vibration of the thought feeling. So now you're vibrating in your field, and this field is way bigger than your body, and you're vibrating in your field the storyline, I can't get well, my mom and my grandma had it, oh well, I'm out of luck. So what happens is this electromagnetic field that you have that has this vibrational frequency, when we look at the quantum perspective of things, like attracts like. So you begin to attract into your field things that match that vibration. So then you get to prove to yourself over and over and over and over and over again that yes, see,
See, it's true. See, it's true. I can't get well. I can't get well. You try to take a supplement. You go to a specific doctor. You go to 15 different kinds of specialists. And none of them can figure out what's wrong with you. And none of them can tell you how to get well because you're vibrating a frequency that says, I can't get well. And there's no room for wellness. So what are you going to do about it? Let's get to that. Let's figure out a few steps that you can take that will allow you to get out of this repeating pattern, subconscious crap that you've got yourself stuck in, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is you got to recognize it. You got to recognize the repeating pattern, or you got to recognize that you're making excuses about something in your life, or you got to recognize the reactions that you're having. So maybe it's just, when your child does something particular, it really rubs you the wrong way and you have a reaction and you lash out at your child. Maybe it's that. And so you're recognizing, okay, well, I have this thing that's happening and I'm lashing out at my child and I don't want to be lashing out at my child. So, okay, thank you for allowing me to see this. And I'm seeing it for what it is. I'm very clear that I have this thing, right? And then the second thing you're going to do is you're going to decide that you want something different. So whatever it is, if you're lashing out at your child, then you're going to decide you want to be a mindful, conscious human being and a mother who expresses only love to her children, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to visualize how you would like it to be. Now, I would recommend writing this down. I would take maybe a few hours or a few days or a few weeks and just continue to revisit it and continue to revisit it and continue, because the more you write it out, the clearer you're going to get. My coach was like, okay, you got to get clear on what you want to create. And so I write out, okay, I want to have this coaching program and I want to work with patients online and and then he's like, okay, I'm just kind of giving you a synopsis. But he's like, okay, but let's get really clear about it. So what does your coaching program look like? And how many patients do you want to have that you're working with virtually? And how much money do you want to be making working with patients virtually? And how much time do you want to be spending? Right, you see what I mean? So I had to sit down with this for weeks and work it out. And actually it's something that I continue to manipulate because I set it up one direction and I'm like, that's not quite the vision. Yeah, I thought it was, but it's not, right? So the vision may change and that's okay. But you won't know that if you're not playing with it, if you're not sitting down and going, you know what? I'm going to write this out. My life is freaking amazing. I'm an amazing mother. I'm an amazing partner. I stand up for myself and I have deep, passionate love in my relationships and I deep, passionate, purposeful love for my work, and I am, seeing X number of patients or clients, and I'm making X number of money, and feeling is the essence of all of it. I feel fantastic. I feel on top of the world. I feel my soul turned on. Okay, right? Yeah. All right. And so once you get clear about your vision, then what you're going to do is you're going to just meditate on it. And I would recommend doing this every single day, at least once a day. And when you get really into it, you'll be visioning this all day long. You'll be driving in the car and you'll be thinking about what it is you're creating because you're so passionate about it. It has to be really exciting what you want to create. Your dream has to excite you into a place where it's your thing. It's what you think about night and day. And as you're going to sleep, you're like, oh man, I'm so excited. I'm so excited right now because I am putting together a program for women. And I have the parts all kind of laid out, but it's not congealed yet. So I'm taking this next weekend to go to the hot springs and be with my parts and congeal this up for you ladies because it is going to rock your freaking world, right? And I'm so freaking excited about that. I can't wait to put this all together for you. So that's the excitement that you got to have, right? If you're going to make a change in your life. And then as you're meditating on this new vision, this new thing you want to step into, take some time to feel what it would feel like to have it now. There really is, from the quantum perspective, there is no time. We live in a time-space continuum, but from the outside of that, everything just is now. And so the more that you can feel into that vibration of what you're creating, the faster it actually comes to you. All right. So continue this process day in and day out, and then recognize every single day how your new reality is showing up. So for me, one of the things I have been creating is an online practice. I'm moving more into that every single day. And so I keep getting these new patients that I'm working with online, and I'm building that part of my practice. And I'm like, wow, this is really, really cool, right? So I'm celebrating those moments. I'm celebrating the openness that has happened to allow me to go to the hot springs because I'm celebrating a girlfriend's birthday. It just kind of came up. And I've been really, really busy because I'm juggling multiple things, but I was and in the back of my mind for the last 2 weeks, I've been like, okay, I want to make this program, but when is it going to happen? And then I got really clear about it. I was like, no, I'm going to have this program outlined by the end of this week, because next week I want to be able to start telling my ladies about it, right? And so I got clear, and I set a boundary, and I set an intention. And so then, boom, my girlfriend was like, hey, let's go to the hot springs for my birthday. And I was like, oh, perfect timing. Okay, cool. I'll be there because I've got work to do, right? And my work is so exciting that it's not like, I have to go to work. Let me do this visioning. Let me create this program. Like, there's none of that, because I'm so passionate about what I do that there's nothing else, right? So I want you to get into that place with yourself. What is it that you want to create? And how does it make you feel to do that? And if you don't have that level of excitement that's like totally turning you on, then that may not be your thing. You may think it's your thing, but it may not be your thing. So for a while, when I was starting to build my online business, I built my own website and everything. Like, I've done all the back end work on my own. I'm still working on that. And I'm not like really tech savvy, but I'm learning as we go, right? And I started to get the vision that I wanted to be like Dr. Josh Axe, something like what he's offering, and with a little food babe twist, okay? And if you don't know those people, I'll put links into their show notes. It's links to their sites on the show notes, because you should really check them out. They're freaking amazing people. Food Babe is offering so many really cool things around the food industry that you should know. And Dr. Josh Axe, he's got something on every single problem that a body can have, basically, online, and natural ways to approach it. So, I mean, this sounds like my thing, right? And so this was my vision for a minute. I was like, okay, I'm going to be a Josh Axe with a food babe twist, and I'm going to top that off with a little spirituality, right? So that would be my personal bend on the whole conversation. But then as I started like getting into this deeper and deeper and deeper and clarifying my vision, I came to understand, like, I can talk about adrenal failure. I can talk about thyroid health. I can talk about cardiovascular health, but it doesn't like really light me up. I'm not going, ooh, I can't wait to talk about the thyroid. Like, I know the thyroid in and out, but I don't get all jazzed up about talking about it. So it's like, okay, wait, maybe that's not my thing, right? So I don't really put too much attention on those things that aren't lighting me up. Now, occasionally I will have someone ask me a question like, hey, Dr. Brandy, can you talk about thyroid? Or can you talk about metabolism? Or can you talk about nervous system health or whatever? And then I will talk about those things. So again, if you have any suggestions or questions, or you would like me to touch on some things, heck yeah, let me know and I'll send it your way, because I love, love, love sharing things with people that I know they're out there wanting the information. And since Dr. Josh Ash and and Food Babe have those kind of areas covered, maybe it's not my thing, right? It's not lighting me up. Like, so what? So it's not my thing. So I've reconfigured my vision, and my vision is unfolding every single day. And you're kind of a part of my unfoldment. You're hearing my unfoldment every time you listen to my podcast. So you probably have noticed I'm not talking a lot about physical ailments. I'm talking about consciousness. Like, that turns me on. Like, woo freaking who. And consciousness creates. So consciousness creates the physical element. Now, of course, we can have trauma. Something can happen. We can get, a fluoride toxicity or a chlorine toxicity and create a hormonal imbalance or a hypothyroid situation. But then I ask, well, what created that? Like every single experience has an energetic blueprint, and that energetic blueprint lies in our consciousness. So if there was a trauma, then there was a level of consciousness that allowed it. And that's where I want to speak to. And this is where this conversation's coming from, right? And so tap into that deepest part of yourself and figure out what it is that lights you up and go in that direction. That you lit up is your inner yes. You lit up is your soul's calling. You lit up is the purpose that you're here for in that very moment. So follow your light up, okay? This is your soul turned on, and go in that direction, right? And then lastly, what I want you to do is I want you to notice, oh, wow, this stuff is happening. And as you're noticing it's happening, celebrate that. So celebrate it by either jumping up and down. I do that so often. Like something happens and I get off the phone and I'm like, wahoo! And I'm like jumping up and down and I'm so excited. I'm doing a little dance. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, this is amazing. I might go outside and like let the wind blow on my face and just say, thank you, God, for everything you're bringing into my life, because my dreams are coming true. And I love that. And I want your dreams to come true too. So, the more gratitude and celebration that you can bring to life every single day something grand happens in your life. And it's your right and responsibility to see it. It's your responsibility to recognize the grand things that are happening in your life and to celebrate that so you can continue to create more. Because when you have that thought of, oh yeah, my life is amazing, guess what? It creates biochemical reactions in your brain. Those chemicals become feelings, and those feelings perpetuate themselves. So your, oh yeah, my life is freaking amazing becomes a, oh yeah, my life is freaking amazing, a feeling, which creates more of those thoughts that your life is freaking amazing and allows you to see more amazingness in your life. And then the, oh yeah, my life is freaking amazing creates an electromagnetic frequency in your field that attracts more of the same. So your life just continues to get more and more amazing. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to have some challenge arise. Like, I have challenges. Most of them I bring on myself, and I'm very clear about that. I would say actually all of them I bring on myself because that's what we do. We bring on our own challenges, but I actually put myself in situations to actually facilitate the challenge so that I can have a growth moment, so that I can move beyond whatever my limiting belief or those limiting factors or the subconscious crap that that's holding me back from achieving the, oh yeah, my life is freaking amazing. So I can move into that place on a deeper level. And it's a process, and you just do it over and over and over again. And I'm just here to tell you that the more attention that you give to that, the more, yes, beautiful, wonderful, purposeful amazingness that you're going to have arise in your life. So I am so grateful to be a part of your full just evolution into your greatness. And I would love to hear how your inner yes and your inner yumminess is showing up in your life. So feel free to, drop me a line and let me know how it's going for you out there. I so appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the downloads. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for rating. Thank you for reviewing, and do whatever it takes to turn your soul on. Thank you for tuning in to Turn Your Soul On Radio. If you're finding yourself living a more inspired life because of this show, help spread the light. Share this episode with every woman you know looking to live their lives a little more on fire. I'd also be grateful if you headed over to iTunes and left a heartfelt review, which really helps the growth of the show. I'd also like to invite you to deepen your connection with our community by joining our private Facebook group, Turn Your Soul On. And if you have any other questions, feel free to shoot us an email at admin@drbrandyvictory.com. Thanks so much for being here today, and I'll talk to you next time. May your soul be turned on.
This podcast is for information purposes only. Dr. Brandy Victory is not a medical doctor, and the views and statements expressed on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Dr. Brandy Victory and the producers, disclaim responsibility from any possible adverse effects from the use of information contained herein. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. This podcast does not make any representations or warranties about guest qualifications or credibility. This podcast may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products or services. Individuals on this podcast may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein. If you think you have a medical problem, consult a licensed physician.